Hello, this is Unlimited Splash, where we get better at Magic together through a new draft every day, and today I'm jumping into the final Lorwynsealed arenadirect event. This is the last weekend of this event, and if you get 6 wins before your second loss, you get a box of lorwyneclipsed booster packs mailed to your house. If you get 7 wins, you get 2 boxes of packs. I've won packs in a bunch of sets, but Lorwyn has completely eluded me so far, so I am really hoping that this is the event where I translate 6,000 gems into a booster box. Let's go. Really hoping to open some good rares, but more than that, I think the commons and uncommons and the synergies are so important in this set. Holy smokes. This is the best pool I've opened by far. I'm really hoping for my red and blue to come through on this one, because Ashling's Command is, in my opinion, the best rare in the set. This thing is often just a pure board wipe. It's one of the closest things to a board wipe that there is in this format. And then on top of that, it can draw you cards. It can copy a creature. It can make treasures if you want. Flitterwing Nuisance, also a sweet card. This creature can draw you a lot of cards, especially if you have blight synergies. Kirill can be actually nice in sealed. If you have a lot of activated or triggered abilities, you can actually copy them. Endblaze Epiphany is a very nice removal spell. And then Bree has a lot of power. Not a super great card on its face, but it has a lot of power. And then the green stuff is fine. But we are really looking to be playing Izzet spells here. I'm really crossing my fingers that blue and red come through in their common card quality. So let's look at this. We have Flittering Nuisance, Blossom Bind, good start. Gravelgill Scoundrel and Double Summon Sentinel, that's fine. All I need to do is stay alive long enough to play Ashling's Command. Unwelcome Sprite is a great one. I really like this card. Double Glamormite is really nice. If your game plan is to play a bit of a slower, bit of a more controlling game, Double Glamormite and Double Colwrath Mystic with the 4 toughness, looking really good here. Swat Away, also really good for our control game plan. And then Unexpected Assistance, that'll help you find your bombs. Pastor Wellguard, maybe the worst, definitely the worst card. And Spell Snare is pretty much unplayable in best of 1. Looking at our red, Double Flame Chain Mauler, not a good card. This is basically a Grizzly Bears. But then we also have a Gristle Glutton. Too bad to spend all that on Lasting Tar Fire, get 2 uncommons of Lasting Tar Fires. But we do have Burning Curiosity, Elder Ante, Tweeze, Feed the Flame, so we have a lot of good removal. Flame King Guildweaver is a top common in red, and Colress Zealot I think is the top common in red, and then we have Endblaze Epiphany. So very playable deck already. Even before I looked at the other cards or looked at the rest of my pool, I already can pull out a very playable possible 40 cards. And I will also say Rooftop Percher is good. Gathering Stone can be very good. So my mind is immediately going straight to this. You could even put in some Gangly Stomplings if you wanted some more power. You could even splash in the Bree of Clan Stout Arm. Very possible you're running a Marrow Sky Swimmer in a deck like this. And hey, maybe we even try to run Kirill. And bam, that right there would be a red-blue spells deck that I would not hate. But let's definitely lay out the cards in all of the different colors that we have and see if we're overlooking anything before we commit to any particular color pair. Okay, how lucky can you get? I mean, this is really making me scared. First, we opened 2 Ashling's Commands, which really strongly suggests that you want to be blue-red. And then when we lay out our cards, look, I have not left anything on the sideboard here. This is all of the cards in our whole pool. When we lay them out, seriously, we have way more blue and way more red options than any other color, which is really what you want to see in a sealed pool. You want all of the forces to be pointing in one direction, because cards that are in your pool never help you win, right? So immediately, I think blue-red is just bar nothing the way to go. The question is going to be, can we splash and how much should we splash? But let's just, at least for argument's sake, look at what we're giving up in the other colors. Encumbered Reejerey can be good, and we do have a decent number of 2-drops in white. The card quality in white really falls off, though. I mean, Gallant Foul Knight, Double Shore Lurker, Reluctant Downguard. I would say we could pretty much just immediately rule out white, even if we hadn't seen the Ashling's Commands. Probably we're not getting pulled into it by the double Timid Shieldbearer and Encumbered Reejerey. So I'm just going to pull out white. There's no pull into white among our rares, except if you wanted to play Bree of Clan Stout Arm. And there's no pull among the commons and uncommons. Our black maybe is a little bit better. Creekwood Safe Right is a good one if you're playing a lot of elves. Iron Shield Elf can be fine, but in sealed it's not that great. Nameless Inversion is, a solid removal spell. And then it kind of falls off after that. Dawnhand Eulogist is obviously very good, but again, these would have to be in a very elf-heavy deck. I think in my whole pool, I have about a dozen elves if I was playing every single elf, even the very bad ones. So I don't think that is going to happen for us. So really, the black card quality is quite low, I would say, unless we manage to put together a highly synergistic elf deck, but we just have no rares that are pulling us in that direction. So I'm going to also cut black and just say black is pretty much ruled out. There are some things to be said for green, though. Maybe I play green in the set a little bit more than I should, but green definitely has some features to speak of. There's Sapling Nursery. There's also Lorwyn, which maybe you could say is a pull into black. I mean, those are both fine cards. And there's also Morkant's Loyalist. So I will at least look at an elf deck and see what that would look like. Very hard to believe that that's going to beat the double Ashling's Command spells deck, though. And there's also triple Assert Perfection, which is really nice. I mean, that's extremely high card quality among the commons. So it's very possible, and by the way, a pretty good density of early drops. I mean, there's Virulent Emissary, we have Alyssa Lynn Informant. Oh, okay, maybe not amazing density. And then Sapling Nurseries, yeah, perfectly fine. Prism Basher is kind of nice if you're playing a Vivid deck. So if we had a bunch of mana fixing, we have nothing in terms of mana fixing, really, except I guess one Furdock Core. If we had a bunch of mana fixing, I would definitely be looking into, should I play Temur Vivid to support my Ashling's Command? But I think it's pretty much elves, or is it? I think those are my options. I really don't think I'm supposed to get splashy with it when I have just a Furdock Core, 0 dual lands, no Changeling Wayfinders, no Forging Wickermaws, nothing to filter. So I'm going to probably provisionally rule out green, but we'll at least look at an elves build later. So honestly, that just left us with blue and red. So let's try to craft the best blue-red deck that we can. Okay, so the trick here is a trick that I know and love very well, which is we need to build an absolutely classic control deck. That means that we need to have enough ways to win. Look, Ashling's Command, it can draw you cards, it can sort of board wipe them, but it requires ways of actually winning the game. So we do need enough ways to win. And we also need to not die early. What this also means, we need a bunch of interactions. So I think I'm just not going to cut a single piece of our interaction suite here. And we also need enough 2-drops. I think Summit Sentinel is the absolutely perfect card for us. I think Flamechain Mauler, this is just the wrong deck for Flamechain Mauler. Unwelcome Sprite plus the Glamourmites is a pretty nice little package. And I actually do like the Elder Ante as a card that generates a chump blocker, but I think the Gangly Stomplings are a little bit nicer because these actually are ways to win. I also think I really want to play Gathering Stone, so it's very possible that I have to cut one of my less impactful non-creature spells, but also this is a control deck. So having a bunch of non-creature spells is okay. Looking at Kirill, I do want to see how many triggers I have. I actually do have a lot of triggers, so Kirill could double Summit Sentinel, Flitterwing Nuisance, Unwelcome Sprite, Glamourmite, Colorwrath Mystic, but not Gangly Stompling, could double the Flame King Guildweaver. It's looking mediocre. I think Kirill is a bit too much of a dream. It's not really a way to win. So I think cutting cards like Kirill, maybe cut the Chitinous Graspling. My 2-drops are okay. I want to basically always have something to do within the first 3 turns. The one question is Bree. Can I afford to play, let's say, 1 Plains, and then how can I cast Bree? Bree, I feel strongly, is actually pretty good. In this situation, like, I'm looking for excuses to play Bree because I need ways to actually convert games and win. Actually, one way to win, by the way, is flying with my 4 flying creatures, or 5 flying creatures, I mean, even though they don't have that much power between them, they are, flying is actually pretty good in this set. So for Bree, I have Flamekin Guildweaver, Colwrath Zealot, and the Plains. That's 3 pips. So I actually think Bree is just barely keepable. I don't have any payoffs. Oh, and by the way, Ashling's Command can make treasures. I don't have any payoffs for Vivid. So Mischievous Sneakling maybe is just a little bit too low impact. 5, 1 or 2 drops in a deck with this much interaction. I think that actually could be okay. There's a question about whether I can support Gathering Stone. So I have 6 9, I think that's totally fine. In a deck like this, I think that's actually totally fine. And what are we leaving on the sideboard? Are there inherently powerful cards? I guess Kindle the Inner Flame, but I don't think that's, I think that's a little bit too conditional. Maybe something like Glister Baron. Basically, I'm just looking for, are there ways to win that I'm currently leaving on the sideboard that I could possibly fit into my deck? Because I'm a little bit concerned with this 2-color deck that it's just a bit light on ways of actually converting board advantage into a victory. You could do something like cut maybe Unexpected Assistance, because we already have the double Ashling's command, so we don't really need another very strong 5-mana instant. And then maybe I could fit in a Pestered Well Guard or something. That's definitely, or maybe a Marrow Sky Swimmer. That's definitely my one concern about this deck. Can it actually convert advantage into wins? Usually in a deck like this, you would see Stratosaurers. I didn't find any Stratosaurers, the elemental that hops other elementals. You might also see, well, I do have Kalrath Zealot and Flamekin Guildweaver. Those are 2 high power creatures. I'm missing Saner, Ashling Rekindled, some of the top bombs in this color pair. I'm also conspicuously missing Tamifel Rhymespeaker. If I design the deck in this way, it's very much a deck that's based around chip damage in the air. So maybe then the interaction really does make sense, because the idea is I'm just trying to tap down their stuff and get damage through if they have a reach creature or a large flyer. I wonder if maybe I play something like Marrow Sky Swimmer and cut Feed the Flames. I have Tweeze, Swat Away, Blossom Bind, and then basically the idea is Endblaze Epiphany is so similar to Feed the Flames, and this is just another way of getting a little bit more damage through. That's possible. Okay, so I'm gonna think about this deck. This deck is one possibility. I guess the other argument is that Gangly, Stompling, and Kalrath Mystic are ways of winning. If I'm playing a whole bunch of interaction, I can copy the Stomplings with Ashling's command, for example. You know, these can attack for 4 damage. That's a good amount of damage, right? If you're in control of the board. So, okay, that's one possibility. Okay, here is the other direction, just the polar opposite deck that goes all in on the green-black elf quality. The good thing about this deck is triple Assert Perfection paired with Virulent Emissary, some overstatted 2-drops, and then especially the Gangly Stomplings backed up by triple Assert Perfection is nice. Sapling Nursery is a major payoff, as is Lorwyn, kind of. I mean, Lorwyn I think is really good. Sapling Nursery I think can be really good. I would say the Prisma Basher is quite well supported. And actually our average card quality is pretty high. This is just going to be a consistent curve-routing beatdown deck full of 4/2s. Look, we have 5 4/2s backed by a bunch of Assert Perfections. To be honest, I actually think this deck looks perfectly respectable. It does not have the bomb quality that my Is It deck has. Maybe, well, it has more threat density, let's say. They're probably comparably consistent. So I would not feel devastated if I went into an event with this Elves deck, but I also wouldn't feel super optimistic about it going the distance. I look at this deck and I think, yeah, I'm probably hoping to make back my gems. I'm probably not realistically winning a box, but no deck is realistically expected to win a box. With that said, I'm still favoring the Is It deck. And by the way, you might notice my lighting and clothes are a little bit different than they were just a minute ago. It was late at night when I rolled this pool and I really liked the looks of it. So I actually asked a bunch of people what they would do. And a good number of my friends suggested a green-red deck with a blue splash, even though we don't have any cards that enable splashing really. I at least wanted to give it a go and see how that looks. I think it's a little sketchy, but some of my friends thought there might be something there. So let's try to build that. Green-red with a minor blue splash for the Ashling's commands. Okay, I haven't made the final cuts, but I guess green-red with a blue splash might look something like this. Probably I'd rather play a Furdock Core than have to play 3 whole islands. Although actually, I probably actually, now that I think about it, do have to play 3 islands and a Furdock Core. I'm trying to fit in 2 Ashling commands with no other way of making blue mana. The deck looks assertive, but the mana is so sketchy. It has essentially no bombs that are really supported. I mean, you do get to play Lorwyn, but you're gonna need triple green for Lorwyn, or maybe Furdock Core to make a black. Also, the sapling nursery wants you to have as many forests as possible, but the mana base is not there. Maybe we probably cannot play Kirill as the double red pip. I'm not sure how well supported it is. Prisma Basher is fine, but we actually don't get to play that many other colors of hybrid cards. Like our Gangly Stomplings are not even adding to hybrid. So Prisma Basher is often going to just be for X equals 2. This just looks way, way worse than, frankly, both of the decks that we've looked at so far. So if I had maybe a few more pieces of fixing, this could be the kind of direction that we would go. I do like the highly assertive statsy approach to sealed, where you just ask questions and your opponent has to answer them. But, oh, sorry, we're one lane short. But still, we haven't made our final cuts, and I don't even know where exactly I would go with this. So I'm going to go back to Is It. I'm just going to try to perfect that build, and then let's jump into our first game. Okay, I think this is my final build. I am leaving out the white splash. A wise friend pointed out to me that even if you can cast Bree off of a treasure, you're going to need another treasure in order to activate her. So maybe that splash is just a little bit much. I've also decided for the moment not to run Kirill. I think the double red for a little bit less power makes it notably worse. I don't have that many good triggers to copy, and also I'm not sure I'm going to have that many spare creatures. Like, for example, if I'm trying to copy Flitterwing Nuisance's triggered ability, then I probably don't have two creatures to tap other than the Nuisance, right? I'm probably trying to get in with a bunch of creatures. So just looking at the specifics of what Kirill would copy, or like how much better is Surveilling 4 than Surveilling 2, and how often is that kind of thing going to come up? So I think I'm just going to go for the Stompling, but we may sideboard that out depending on how it goes. And finally, I decided maybe it's worth playing the Graspling over like Sky Swimmer. I already have a lot of 2-power flyers or a 3-power flyer, and I think having another elemental is good for Ashling's Command, Gathering Stone, and so on. And it just has a stats advantage that I think probably matters in my deck. My deck is a little bit low on stats. One other thing I'll mention, in my analysis video where I did a deep dive on my performance in the limited championship qualifier-ish events online, I noted 2 weaknesses that I thought I had in my final deck builds. One was being a little bit low on removal, so I am playing every piece of removal in this color pair, just going a little bit higher than might usually be my impulse. And another was that I was kind of imprecise on mana curve. In one video I shot, I think, too low on the curve, and the other I shot too high. So here I'm really kind of splitting the difference, and I'm hoping that basically always having a reasonably stabilizing turn 3 play should be enough to reach me to my good endgame. And then I'm trying to play, I am playing the Unexpected Assistance as well as both Ashling's Command, so that by turn 5 I should usually have something to do that will generate card advantage or get some trades, some kills. All right, so fingers crossed. I've thought a lot about this build, so let's jump into it. As we get matched for our first game, let me say, if you do like these Arena Direct videos where I put a bunch of gems on the line, do go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and let's get better at Magic together. I always try to break down my thought processes, take you right along with me in my decision making. Every time there's a high stakes event, pretty much, I do a bunch of runs. And so I hope to post another Arena Direct video even this time. And I also, outside of that, post a new draft video every single day. And I'm just trying to get better tomorrow than I am today and bring my community along with me. So if that appeals to you, just go down to the description below. There's a really quick and easy link to subscribe. Okay, here we are on the play. Flamechain Mauler is a 2-drop for us into Kulrath Mystic, or maybe Ashling's, or maybe Gangly Stompling, I mean, and then Ashling's Command to top things off. Ooh, you know you're in trouble when your opponent has awesome old bordered lands. I have never been around when those have been offered on Arena. Double green, but they have the Great Forest Druid. Well, first I'm going to attack because I'm fairly certain I can just sneak through damage here. I highly doubt they want to get tweezed, right? It seems like they're stuck off of another color. So we sneak through 2 damage, and then I think I am going to go with the Gangly Stompling. It just lines up way better against Great Forest Druid. Right now I wouldn't have something to push more damage with Kulrath Mystic. Let's see if they hit their 3rd land. It kind of seems like they only had 2 lands. Nope, they're dropping a Furdok Core. Well, with Flamekin Guildweaver down, I do kind of wish that I had played the Kulrath Mystic, but hey, we're still smashing in for 6 damage. and then playing a big chunky guy. And then we're going to follow it up with an Ashling's Command next turn, almost certainly. And we have a bunch of good elementals to copy. So most likely, I'm going to copy an elemental, draw 2. Dundulin Weaver, a little rough for the opponent. And then they have an Assert Perfection. Got it. Okay. Kind of wish I'd had Ashling's Command up for that. Okay, so I'm going to play the Mountain, but then let's think for a moment. So the two options as I see it are board wipe, or not board wipe, essentially kill Dundulin Weaver and draw 2. Smash in for 6. That sounds pretty good. Putting them down to 6 HP sounds pretty good. Another option is zap the Dundulin Weaver, copy Gangly Stompling. So the question is Gangly Stompling better than 2 cards in my deck? Right, I think probably not. They pretty much cannot activate Furdok Core. I think if their plan is activate Furdok Core, they're in trouble. So I think I'm just going to fire off the Ashling's Command and draw 2. Although having more stats on the board does also sound pretty good. Yeah, I think copying my Gangly Stompling is just a good move. So I'm going to copy this elemental, and I'm going to shoot the opponent's creatures. So it's essentially it was kind of like a Flame Tongue Kavu, basically, that I just played. So we just went for the aggro play. Now they need to represent, like if they play a land that, you know, activating the core is not an option. Yeah, we got there. We just put the pressure on. I figured just the aggressive move makes the most sense. Very happy with my deck there. Yeah, I liked the Gangly Stompling, so that was definitely better than Kirill would have been. Yeah, all right, on to the next one. Okay, this hand is fine. I am on the play. Probably I'm just going to go Kulrath Mystic into Chitinous Graspling. It's a reasonable game plan. That's a reasonable game plan. All right, open with an island. If I can play the 2 islands in the Mountain, I am representing counter mana, even though we all know I don't have a counter, but the opponent doesn't have to know that. A whole bunch of old bordered lands running around today. All right, this does make me feel good about Kulrath Mystic. I do need to draw some lands, though. I really hope to draw a land next turn. Feisty Spikeling. Okay, so we're playing against an aggro deck. This is a test for us. Oh, that's really annoying. Kind of want to go Gristle Glutton, just to get myself out of this mana screw. The way that I lose games like this is mana screw. I mean, there are many ways for me to lose games like this, but that's definitely one of them. Oh, really annoying. Okay. I mean, the other option would be just try to do the mana efficient thing, but I really think I have to not be mana screwed. That's the most important thing. So I have no attacks. That guy does not have vigilance right now. If they attack, I'm almost certainly just taking it. Okay. Okay. All right. So we got a land. So now there are a few questions. So one option is just play the Chitinous Graspling. Then I can probably just attack with Kulrath Mystic. I don't imagine that they're going to block. Then I might be taking damage from Safe Right Cavalry. I think that's okay because we have a bunch of Glamourmites in our hand and a Blossom Bind. Blossom Bind is not at its best against Safe Right Cavalry. They could very well play a land and attack with everything next turn. But that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage at the absolute most. And I do have a bunch of removal. So I think I really want to be mana efficient because next turn I could Blossom Bind into Glamourmite. And I also want to push damage, honestly. Because I just have a lot of stats on the board. So I'm going to do this and go in with the Vigilancy Kulrath Mystic. And hopefully I'm holding them back pretty well. Put them to 16 and pass. Now with Feed the Flames, Blossom Bind, and Glamourmite, hopefully I have responses to sort of the obvious things that can happen. I'm anticipating maybe just an attack with Safe Right Cavalry. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. I'm just going to take that. I have no real reason to do anything else, and it makes sense that they don't invest a million mana into just pumping. Down comes Lissalina Informant. Sure. Sure. Okay. So if I get a land, I'll probably just Blossom Bind the Safe Right Cavalry. Yes, it can pump Lissa Lin Informant, but I'm not too concerned about that. And I really don't want to trade stats and one of my cards here. So the only issue of this is I cannot attack with Colorwrath Mystic. I suppose I could attack with Chitinous Graspling here. So here's another option. Well, okay, if I Blossom Bind anything, it probably should be the Safe Right Cavalry. The only thing is I could feed the Flames the Safe Right Cavalry while they cannot pump it. I don't have to do the most mana efficient thing. If I Blossom Bind, I don't get an attack this turn, but that's okay because I'm about to play a bunch of Glimmermites. I could also attack, try to tempt them into double blocking Chitinous Graspling, say, and then feed the Flames. But they have 3 mana untapped. That sounds like a very risky play. So let's just Blossom Bind the Safe Right Cavalry. I don't know if this is the best thing. Okay, they could have +2/+2 and Hexproof, I guess. I don't know if that's the best use of removal, but given that I have a removal spell and several tempo cards in my hand. So am I being too passive by not attacking here? Maybe I just attack with Chitinous Graspling? If I was going to do that, I should have done it before combat, though, so that I feed the Flames up if they have a pump spell. So let's not. I'm just taking myself in the long run. I'm saying I'm probably going to win in the long run, and I don't really want to get blown out. Keep out to destroy Blossom Bind. Minorly annoying. Minorly annoying. I guess it's fine. That Safe Right Cavalry is not so important to me. Okay, so before combat, I'm just going to tap down your Safe Right Cavalry. Then blocks are tough for me here. So, for example, they could attack with Lissa Lin Informant. Attacking with Feisty Spikeling, I'll happily just take 2 or 4, up to 4 damage, let's say. If they pump it, I'm really happy. All right, they have better things to do, makes sense. Oh, what I wouldn't give for an Ashling's command here. Liminal Hold, sure. None of my creatures are that essential, right? Colorwrath Mystic and Chitinous Graspling are like pretty much equivalently good. Okay, so they don't have a flyer. Okay, go to my turn. Come on, Ashling's command. You are not Ashling's command. Sorry to say. So how do I win this game in the long run? Kind of want to feed the Flames on the Safe Right Cavalry while it's tapped down. I don't think they have a +2/+2 and Hexproof. If they do, that's pretty bad for me. I just kind of like the idea of them not really being able to attack. I think let's try this and see if it happens. See if it happens. I don't think they have the Hexproof trick, and I kind of like the idea of just getting rid of this guy. So let's try it. Okay, we got it. Now I can attack with Glimmermite, right? The thing is, they can still attack with Lissa Lin Informant, and I can't block. So maybe I would want to block with Glimmermite. This is very passive, very passive. But the thing is, if they attack with Lissa Lin Informant and I block with either of my other creatures, they can buff everything. I don't really like that. And I would be trading 2 damage for 4 damage. So I still think I don't attack. It's very passive. I do think time is on my side. I have a bunch of like draw spells. I have multiple Ashling's commands in my deck. Here I think I might as well just block with Glimmermite. It does let them surveil. Let's block with Glimmermite. Now, if I want to, I can blight onto the Glimmermite and pitch a card to just see one more card. I don't think so. I think I like both of my creatures, both of my cards in my hand. I think let's not do it. Interesting decision, though. Okay, so they get to surveil and select their draw. All right, go to my turn. Flamekin Guildweaver is a nice one. That is a nice one. The question is, can I attack? I think the answer is no. I'm not blocking. It's still so passive, but I'm not blocking. And I'm, you know, at a certain point, they could just draw Kinbinding, right? So I do want to be aggressive, but if I attack with Chitinous Graspling and they attack back, I dealt 3 damage to them, they dealt 6 damage to me. I don't want Flamekin Guildweaver to block the Shield Bearer. The Graspling is my main blocker. I can't attack with Gristle Glutton, really. I mean, maybe I could. No, they would just block with Timid Shield Bearer. I don't think they have anything to fear from doing that. So let's just play the Guildweaver. And now I'm hoping that this is the turn when I start being able to get in attacks. No attacks end. I don't know what their last card is. I don't think it's a creature. Virulent Emissary. So you have a Death Toucher. Yeah, I kind of thought it was a land. Interesting. They did that because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're playing out their land so they can get a double Shield Bearer activation at some point. Okay, go to my turn. Okay, I'm definitely going to want to pitch that island. So something that I could do is offer the trade of the Guildweaver for the Emissary. And then when they block, I blight onto the Guildweaver to pitch my land. And then I'm going to play a Gangly Stompling. I wish I could find an answer to this Virulent Emissary. I don't love the idea of trading here. So they can also buff. How much does that affect my thinking? Like if I attacked with the Chitinous Graspling as well, I don't really get a better attack next turn. So I think this is okay. Trading my Guildweaver for a Virulent Emissary doesn't feel awesome. Trading my 4-drop for a 1-drop, but I really like the idea of just drawing a card here. And this is sort of a free card. And look, I still have 2 Ashling's commands to find, so drawing a bunch of cards is just good for me. Interesting. Well, I'll proceed to damage. Ask you to buff. Okay. They buff their creatures. Then I'm going to blight onto the Guildweaver because it's still going to kill this guy. It does give me 1 less trample damage. I wish I'd drawn an Ashling's command. Would have been a nice instant speed play. All right, so we get a little trade there. And then I think I'll play... Maybe I actually play Flame Chain Mauler. It's kind of a nice one. Could also play the Gangly Stompling, honestly. Yeah, I think I like that. Gristle Glutton's really good. Gristle Glutton is a really good one. I'm just very nervous that they're going to draw Kinbinding or something. I really need to be pushing damage. Okay. So I'm very happy with my Chitinous Graspling. Until they can double buff. Okay, that's annoying. That's definitely annoying. Five, 6, 7, 8. So they're still 2 turns away from double buffing. I kind of want to give the Flame Chain Mauler Menace and then attack with both that and Gangly Stompling. I think that's just a good move. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'll blight onto the Mauler. I could also tap their Virulent Emissary if I want to, but I think let's save that for a future turn. What I wouldn't give for an Ashling's command. I think this is a good attack. I would like to kill the Timid Shield Bearer, then they would have nothing. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same exact thing. Blight onto the Stompling, trample over for 3. Pitch my Mountain. No first strike or anything. Okay. Tedious. Do I just buff the Mauler here? No, I think I'd rather play Glimmermite. It makes it obvious that I have something, but I kind of want to play my Glimmermite. All right. I'm glad to make that trade, I think. What I wouldn't give for Unexpected Assistance, Ashling's Command, Gathering Stone, Rooftop Percher, Colruyt Zealot. Yeah, I have a lot of good draws left. Even Tweeze, Unwelcome Sprite, Endblaze Epiphany, Flitterwing Nuisance. Every non-land card left in my deck is a good draw, pretty much. That's the nice thing about playing a control deck. All right, pass the turn, see what they get. Just not Kin Binding, please. Or Figure of Fable. Another land. All right, you can attack me if you want. You can only buff once. Now, I want to play Glimmermite and maybe just tap down this Sky Swimmer so that Glimmermite can get an attack in. The other thing I could do, and this is actually interesting, I could untap the Gristle Glutton and get another loot. Is that better? Is that actually better? Nah, I think let's push some damage here. Oh my goodness. That's pretty upsetting. Okay. All right. Now, if I attack with everything, so I will play my mountain. Go into full control, play the mountain. Suppose I attack with everything. They still can only buff once off of Timid Shield Bearer. So now I'm representing 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. Okay, I'm not going to attack with Gristle Glutton, obviously, but everything else. Then they could double block the Graspling, but I can kill the Shield Bearer if they do that. So I think it sounds like a good move. I don't really want to play scared here. Again, bearing in mind that they could have just so much going on. So I'll go in with all three. All right, I'm just going to push the maximum damage here. Now, they can do a bunch of damage back to me, but now they're at 2 HP. Or 4 HP, sorry. They would be 2, except they got that Liminal Hold. Okay, now they can double buff. I kind of like that my opponent got totally flooded. I mean, no, okay, I don't like it when things like that happen, but it's kind of good for me that they got totally flooded, but this Timid Shield Bearer makes the mana very useful, right? Okay, end of turn. Even though this makes Gristle Glutton worse, I am definitely going to just Blight onto the Glutton and throw some land away. Okay, Colruyt Mystic into another land. All right, I'm just going to Blight again onto the Glutton. See what we can get here. That Glutton is not doing me so much. Another land. Okay, it's actually useful to know how many lands I have. Four in the bin. 5, 11. So out of 18 lands, out of 18 cards, I have 6 lands left. So there's a 2 in 3 chance that anything I draw is not a land. Okay, that's good to know, right? So now they can double pump anything. And they're overwhelmingly likely to not draw lands as well after they've gotten flooded. Makes Ashling's Command a lot worse, actually. So suppose I attack with a Flame Chain Mauler. Can I make a bunch of trades or what? Attack with Flame Chain Mauler. It attacks as a 5/2. They can double buff. Yeah, it's just good to attack with it. That's just a good attack. Now, the thing is, for Flame Chain Mauler to not be lethal, let's think really, really carefully here. Flame Chain Mauler would be lethal, so they have to block with 2. Then they block 1 creature with the Marrow Sky Swimmer, or they have to block probably they have to block Chitinous Graspling. Flamechain Mauler attacks. They have to block the Chitinous Graspling. But they could just kill it by blocking with Timid Shield Bearer, double block the Flamechain Mauler with these two. Then I'm left with, they have a 1/1 and a Shield Bearer. I have just a Glimmermite. I think I attack with just the Flamechain Mauler here, because then they're going to double block with the other two, and they have nothing in the air, and my Glimmermite becomes lethal. And I have lethal attacks next turn. I think that's correct. So I'll go in with this guy. It has Menace, so they have to double block. Happy I included the Flamechain Maulers. They have to double block. The other thing is, if I attack with everything, they can just not block Glimmermite. Yeah, they would just not block Glimmermite. It doesn't mean that Glimmermite is lethal next turn, but I think this is good. Just simplify, basically. So I assume they're going to double block with the Sky Swimmer and the 1/1. Then I'm going to kill the Sky Swimmer. They're going to have a 2/2 and a 1/1 on the ground, and my Glimmermite is putting them on a 2-turn clock. But if they draw another flyer or a reach creature, I mean, they, I'm sure, have so many good draws in their deck. They can't block with the Shield Bearer. There's really only one play here, right? It has Menace. Okay. All right. I would go to damage. Okay, so resolve. Now I can just deal 4 damage to the Sky Swimmer. And then I can play my Kulrath Mystic second main, right? All right. 4 damage to the flyer. 0 to the 1/1. Then I'll play a Kulrath Mystic. I'll sack the treasure and keep the land in my hand for Gristle Glutton purposes. All right, you're on a 2-turn clock. I assume they draw something. They've already drawn 10 lands. Slumbering Walker bringing back the Sky Swimmer? Wow. Annoying. I guess there were ways that I could have played this game a lot faster. So I'll have to be thinking about that, obviously. Okay, there's Ashling's command. That is an Ashling's command. So I think it's pretty clear what I do. I attack with everything. They're, you know, Chitinous Graspling, Glimmermite, plus Kulrath Mystic. They're going to make a bunch of blocks. One issue is Slumbering Walker is going to get to bring something back at the end of their turn. But they're going to make a bunch of blocks and pump. And then in response, I deal 2 damage to everything. And I also draw 2 cards. The only thing is, if I just attack with Kulrath Mystic, I don't think there's any way that they're going to block with Slumbering Walker. So, okay. I think that's pretty clear. The thing is, if I play Ashling's command right now, they're going to pump in response. So I think this is a pretty clear-cut thing to do. In. Hopefully I don't lose any creatures. This thing is an instant, right? Instant. Kindred, instant. Okay. All right, so I go to blockers. I wonder if they're just going to go to damage. That would be very annoying. That would be such an incredible read if the opponent just goes to damage without pumping. You do have to block the Graspling, yeah. Okay, so their Slumbering Walker will unfortunately not die with these blocks. If I'm them, I'm not playing around Ashling's command. This would be amazing. These blocks would be amazing because this would kill Slumbering Walker. All right, let's go to damage. All right, and with the pump on the stack, 2 damage to everything you control. I'll draw 2. Okay, target a player to draw 2 cards. Me. Deal 2 damage to each creature a player controls. Them. All right, hopefully we targeted correctly. That would be so tragic. And they blocked in the way that means that their guy dies. So. Oh no, where's the +1 from? Oh, the +1 resolves afterwards. Never mind. I didn't think about that. Oh, did I actually screw up? I could have blighted in response. But no, I actually want to play this and play Unwelcome Sprite. They're going to bring back their 2/2 at the end of their turn. The thing is, they're going to bring back the 2/2 flyer end of turn. Gangly Stompling, you don't have flying. The thing is, if I can get one through, it's actually lethal because Tweez can target players. Tweez, my friends, can target players. So I think I win on the board. Unless I screw something up, I think I win on the board. Bringing back the flyer, because otherwise you're facing a lethal attack. My turn. No one has secret reach or anything? All right. You can target a player? Yeah. I mean, I could also target the Marrow Sky Swimmer. That would be another way of winning. And then Tweez to the face. Glad I'm playing this Tweez. What a game. What a game. And there's my unexpected assistance. At the most unexpected moment to receive such assistance. All right. Tight match. We're very lucky that the opponent completely flooded out. I will say I had my own struggles with flood, but theirs were worse. Theirs were worse. And we drew Ashling's Command at the perfect moment. Honestly, they might have stabilized if not for that Ashling's Command. Okay. 2 losses to give, 1 more win, and I at least get some gems back. All right, on to game number 3. What do I think about this hand? So I'm playing 8 red sources. Flitterwing Nuisance plus Glamourmite, I think it's just definitely a keep, right? Turn 1 Flitterwing Nuisance, turn 3 Glamourmite, and then draw 2. I'm just drawing a lot of cards. If they kill Flitterwing Nuisance, it could definitely be trouble. I think this is just a keeper. I also have some ways of making treasures. Okay, awesome. So I definitely open with the Flittering Nuisance. I don't think you're supposed to hold this one back, usually. Timid Shield Bearer. A lot of people playing Timid Shield Bearers today, and I can see why. It's a good card. All right. Probably next turn I'm Glamourmiting rather than Gangly Stomplinging. Ganglying. That Timid Shield Bearer might get Endblaze Epiphanied at some point. Have to tell you that. Those guys can be trouble, as we have recently seen. Okay. Interesting turn here. So I'm going to play one of my creatures. The question is, do I just play the Stompling? Or do I hold up Glamourmite and do something like ambush that Timid Shield Bearer? I don't really like that plan because they could so easily have like River Guard's reflexes. I guess that's a reason not to block with the Stompling as well, though, right? So maybe I just wouldn't block with the Stompling. If they attack with the Shield Bearer, I'll just attack back with the Stompling. That makes sense. Let's play the Stompling, give them a reason not to be too terribly aggressive. Their 2 cards are not synergistic together so far, but we'll see if there's a Champion of the Shoal here or something. That could be bad. Okay. Very glad to see nothing happening there. So basically, probably I don't really want to Unexpected Assist. I mean, I don't really want to Endblaze Epiphany here. I would rather Unexpected Assistance or Glamourmite. So yeah, maybe let's just go to their turn. I think I'm happy to just sit on my hands. Like, I have a bunch of removal and tempo stuff, right? Just find a good Endblaze Epiphany target, tap their stuff. I mean, I could tap their Timid Shield Bearer and attack with Gangly Stompling by playing Glamourmite. But for example, River Guard's reflexes, they just untap their Shield Bearer and block with a 4/4 First Striker. Doesn't seem like something a business that I want to get into, if you know what I mean. All right. If you want to attack, you can. Okay, in that case, I'm going to Unexpected Assistance. Now, they could have 4 damage to a tapped creature. So which one do I want to tap? Probably the Stompling, I think. We'll see if it's 4 damage to a tapped creature. Could be. It would be okay. Lionel Lendra's Answer. That's a little annoying. That's a little annoying. A little bit late for a Unwelcome Sprite as well. So we might actually end up Endblaze Epiphanying Tributary Vaulter. That's kind of funny. Well, I'm going to play this, and then on their turn, I'll tap down their 1/1, and then maybe Tributary Vault. So I could just attack with this Stompling here. Sorry, on their turn, Glamourmite. The Tributary Vault, and then attack back into it, remove the counter from Flittering Nuisance, try to draw some cards. I could attack with the Stompling and just try to trade off with this Shield Bearer. I don't really feel motivated to do that. They also are a control deck, though. We'll see what they've got. You can attack me. End of your turn, I'll play a Glimmermite. So first I have a cast trigger to Surveil. Ooh, those are just two good cards, aren't they? Gathering Stone would let me... Okay, I really like this. So draw Blossom Bind the Vaulter. And then I can attack with the Nuisance, Sprite, and Glimmermite. And then next turn I play the Gathering Stone. Maybe I can rip an Elemental off the top, and that makes my Colress Zealot castable. I think 2 on top. Just switch the order. We'll see if this resolves. So I'm gonna tap the 1/1. Then I'm gonna start with a Blossom Bind on Tributary Vaulter, I think. Saving my Endblaze Epiphany for a bigger threat. And we'll see if we can go and attack. They could have Riverguard's Reflexes untapping the 1/1, but I think that's okay. And then the question is, do I attack with everything? Probably not. I think I can keep my Stompling back. Go to blockers. Really want to make sure I don't pass through the damage, though. All right, and then I'll remove the counter. And do we draw 3? That would be nice. Nice. That's awesome. That is really good. Draw 3. Okay, that's pretty good. Wow, I really like my deck. And then I'll go ahead and play a land. Really nice. Holy smokes. That was pretty awesome. We're a little worried about, you know, what the person in the 2-0 bracket has in store for me. Waiting for the other foot to fall a little bit. But I could see how a blue-white control deck could get here. They don't necessarily need to have 3 kin bindings. But they could. They always could. Alright, go to my turn. Oh, Feed the Flames. That's a good one. Play a land. Kind of want to just attack with Glimmermite plus Flitterwing Nuisance. Let's see. If I play Gathering Stone, I can't really do much else. So maybe it's Colress Zealot. So maybe I shouldn't have played the land, actually. Let's just go in with these two. Just keeping my resources all intact. We're playing control versus control. So I don't want to get silly here. All right, what have you got? Buffing everything. Okay. So maybe I let that resolve, and then I could Endblaze Epiphany the 1/1. No, actually... Why would I care about this trade? That's fine, right? I think that trade is just fine, isn't it? Yeah. We can trade that. I think that's just fine. The Flitterwing Nuisance is not doing anything for me any longer. Then do I actually just play Gathering Stone here instead of the Zealot? I don't think so. I think we play the Zealot. Zealot is value already. And it's just such a big body. Oh, Tweeze. That's a nice one. I love the removal package in my deck. All right, let's see what they've got. How many kin bindings can you play now? 1. Okay. Go to my turn. So I have to play the Tweeze this turn. So I could just go ahead and shoot Timid Shieldbearer right now, and then just attack with everything. They can pump it once. So let's do that. And if they respond with something, I can respond with another one of my removal spells. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I had to play the Tweeze, so no harm done. And then I'm just going to... Now I think I do just attack with everything. Because if they block my Gangly Stompling, they're taking, what, 6, 8, 10? They're essentially dead. They're actually dead. They have to block Colress Zealot. All right, 3-0. Okay, we got our gems back without dropping a game. That feels good. My deck feels sweet. I totally think it can do the distance. We just have to keep getting lucky. Yeah. Fingers crossed for getting lucky. On to the next one. On to the next one. All right. Yeah, I like this hand. Got a lot of options. Glamormite into Flamekin Guildweaver. That'll do it. No. So one thing about Figure of Fable, if you Blossom Bind it, the Blossom Bind will fall off when they level it up and give it pro everything. That is one thing about Figure of Fable. So we will be tweezing that if we have the opportunity. The only thing is, next turn they can almost certainly level it up to a 4/5. So we actually probably have already missed the window to kill it. Yep, that looks like GG actually. They can just level it up to a 4/5 on their turn. Then I have to draw Feed the Flame specifically. There you go. Don't really know what I'm supposed to do about turn 1 Figure. Okay, well, that's a loss for us. I mean, I guess if I draw Feed the Flames right now, do I literally just have to pitch a card to Gristleglutton to get a Feed the Flames? What other answers do I have? That's just so unfortunate. Figure of Fable is like, what a card. The thing is, if you Blossom Bind Figure, once they level it up to have pro everything, it just untaps. So my other option is to outrace them, I guess. I need to, okay, the question is, we're comparing the odds of drawing, oh, I could draw, so Endblaze Epiphany, I might get there in time, if I could draw Endblaze. If I could do Ashling's Command plus Tweeze in the same turn somehow, which I cannot do. What other options do I have? That's so unfortunate. Like, because they're on the play, even Tweeze can't kill it. Like, they get to make it have 5 toughness before I even hit 3 mana. I clearly need this Gristleglutton to find me a land and Feed the Flames, right? So I guess we just go with this, and I'm gonna have to light onto my Glutton next turn and take 4 damage. Sigh. I would need to draw 3 lands for Endblaze Epiphany to even do it. That's fair Magic cards. I guess my other hope is that they get choked on lands and just don't hit 6 lands. It looks like they are going to. Oh my goodness. They can do it the moment Noggle Robber dies? Wow. Wow. Okay. Sure. Sure. I guess I'll pitch Glamormite here. Okay, that's Feed the Flames. Okay, I just need to get a land right now. I can't believe I actually found Feed the Flames. What am I going to pitch? The other Kalrath Mystic. Land, come on. Come on, deck. You know you can do it. You know you can do it. That was my out. Just get me a land. Just get me a land. Yes, we actually got the land. Oh, man. Oh, wow. No, if you have a pump spell, I am going to lose my mind. We actually killed the Figure of Fable. Tell me Magic isn't the best game ever made. Holy smokes. We got our one out. Literally the only out was Feed the Flames into a land. We actually found it the turn before they were probably going to level that guy up. If they play a land this turn, they could have leveled him up. Oh, my heart is pounding. That's unreal. That is unreal. We actually found Feed the Flames directly into a basic land. We needed 2 Gristleglutton activations to even get there. Okay, I need to calm down. I need to stabilize. I need to stabilize my emotions, everyone. Oh my goodness. That was unreal. I can't believe I actually got there. Okay. my heart is just beating out of my chest right now. Okay. All right. I need to take a moment and just get back into the game. Okay. So I play Flamekin Guildweaver, attack with Kalrath Mystic. They can double block. I probably kill the Noggle Robber, I'm guessing. Then next turn I can Ashling's Command. So I've just traded Kulrath Mystic for Noggle Robber in this scenario. Then I have a 4-3. I'm going to block the Wary Farmer with that 4-3, probably. I really want to keep an Elemental alive to copy. The other option is like Flame Chain Mauler plus Blossom Bind. I think I'm definitely going to play the Flame King Guildweaver. Now the only question is, do I attack? I think I might as well, because I can always tweeze something too. Or not, because the fact that I can tweeze something... Yeah, I don't want them to have a zillion attackers. This guy's stronger on the attack than on defense. So let's go in. I mean, maybe they're waiting to get a treasure for some nefarious purposes. That would be pretty bad for me. So I'm going to Blight onto the Kulrath Mystic and kill the Noggle Robber here. And what would I pitch? Flame Chain Mauler? Try to get a land or something else? Do I even really want to? The Gristle Glutton could also just chump block the Wary Farmer next turn. I love the idea of copying Flamekin Guildweaver. And then if I get a land, yeah, maybe I just go to damage, actually. Okay. I'm just going to go to damage. I don't really want to Blight. All right, you do get a treasure, so hopefully they weren't, you know, about to play Kin Binding. Wanderbrine Trapper actually is kind of annoying, but Ashling's Command will take care of that, right? Oh, are you kidding me? What is their deck? Holy cow. Just 5-color good stuff, apparently. Okay, yeah. I think I just take it. I mean, it's a lot of damage, but having a second Flamekin Guildweaver is really good, right? The other thing is, I could Ashling's Command, dealing 2 to everything and drawing 2. I think I'll just take the 3. They do get to Surveil, which is pretty annoying. I think I'll take the 3, copy Flamekin Guildweaver with Ashling's Command. I think that's worth it. It gets me some mana. Well, this is a game that we never had any business still being in. Wow, Surveil to the top is really bad for me. Okay, well, I'm going to deal 2 damage to each of your creatures, and I'll copy my Elemental. I think it's better to have a Flamekin Guildweaver in play than to draw 2 here. And getting the treasure really matters. I can exile cards from their bin. I mean, you know, maybe I could have done that and saved a tweeze for their Ranafel Rhyme Speaker, but... Now, here the question is, do I attack with my Guildweaver? And I think the answer is emphatically yes. There's no way they're going to block, so it puts them to 12. And then I almost have them dead to my next few attacks, so I will go in with the Guildweaver here. Now, suppose I have 1 removal spell. Suppose I have 1 removal spell. Then they can deal 5 damage to me. I really don't want to be passive. I think that would be a big issue in this game. But next turn I can do something like Blossom Bind plus Tweeze. That sounds really good, right? All right, in with the Guildweaver. Four damage to you and end. We're not playing a value game. We are not playing a value game. We are playing a race. This is a race. See what they do. Okay, I'm going to block with Gristle Glutton. That's what this guy's for. Doesn't have trample or anything. And then I will Blight onto itself. Pitching, I think Flame Chain Mauler makes sense. Don't really think that's so useful here. Yeah, I'm actually happy with the land. They surveilled something to the top, so they have something that matters in this situation. Let's play this. Let's see if I resolve a Rooftop Percher. So, I mean, the other thing I could do is Blossom Bind. I would be very happy if they chump block. I really actually don't want to use Tweeze, so I'm going to see if this resolves. If it does, I gain some life, which is really good for me. And I'll get rid of... What could they have? There are things that count elves in the bin. Maybe get rid of the shapeshifter out of their graveyard. They're not playing black. That's the one color that they're not playing. I don't know. Do I still play around like Unbury? I would probably be most unhappy to see Wanderbrine Trapper come back. All right, get rid of those two. In with both. You have something. You surveilled something to the top, and it wasn't the land that you played, so. Selfless Safe Right. Okay. So you can make Tamifel Rhymespeaker indestructible, but you can't actually kill my guy. So I will not. Thanks, Arena, for trying to get me to put all my damage on the indestructible one. All right, put you to 4. Or put you to 8, I mean. Not 4, I wish. Yeah, that Tamifel Rhymespeaker is a dangerous little guy, isn't it? Oh, you have a removal spell for Rooftop Percher? Kind of looks like it. Their deck is sweet, just 4-color good stuff. If they hit their mana, Pyrrhic Strike. Maybe the best removal spell in Sealed in this format. Okay. Let's start off with a Tweeze onto Wary Farmer, I think. Because I need the card selection. I know I said I didn't want to play this, but it doesn't actually shorten their clock. And I really want the card selection. Really want the card selection here. Gangly Stompling is a good one. All right. In with this guy. And then, you know, I could tap down the Rhymespeaker. But I don't think that's the way to go. Let's leave that as a surprise. Play 2 lethal cards, and it's all down to the opponent's top decks. It's all down to their top decks. I don't think they've even been surveilling that much. I'm going to just go for this. Absolutely, I just go for this. We did it. We beat the Figure of Fable, which was 1 turn, I guess technically 2 turns, away from leveling up to have protection from everything. Thank you, Gristle Glutton. You know who the MVP of this event is? Do you know who the MVP event is? This is my MVP. This guy dug and dug and dug, chewing on every little bone and piece of detritus, until he found me Feed the Flames into a basic land right after it. Right? I guess I technically had 1 more draw to get that basic land, but we were about to lose that game so ingloriously. Holy smokes. Magic is such a fun game. And now, you know what? Hey, who knows what happens in the next 2 games? Maybe I'm about to go 0-2, but we were in spitting distance of a box, and I just made my gems back. So I cannot be sad. I cannot be sad about that. And what a way to win that game. All right, on to the next one. Okay. All right. It's a fine hand. It's honestly a fine hand. Not awesome, but we have both of our colors. We're on the play, so it's a little slow, but maybe that's not as important. Have not played... I honestly don't think I've played against a single black deck so far, have I? Looks like it could be a totally solid Elves deck. Okay, definitely time to draw some lands. But if I draw 1 more land, I can unexpected assistance. Down comes the Sneakling. Okay, so worst case scenario, we can Tweeze the Sneakling, pitching a card to try to hit our lands. Oh, interesting. Well, then I'm definitely not blocking. Moonglove Extractor. Okay. Kind of want to just play Flamekin Guildweaver and chill, to be honest. Or maybe I play Flamekin Guildweaver and just say, you know what, it's a race. Let's go in with the Stompling. Yeah, maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. I'm just ahead at that point, right? Trading Gangly Stompling for Moonglove Extractor is fine when they don't even get an attack in with their Extractor. I think that's fine. I get 3 trample damage. They don't get an attack. Okay. Sure. Sure. Then play a Guildweaver. And now we have the mana for our 5 mana stuff. I think that was okay. I don't want them drawing a bunch of cards, but... Now, do I block the Extractor? I kind of don't want to when I'm all tapped out. So they did get a free card there. Kind of don't want to. They could just have so much stuff. If they have like Assert Perfection or something, I'm definitely punished for this. Formidable Speaker, sure. Sure. Finding a Gloom Ripper, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so I can trade and make their Gloom Ripper really bad. That sounds cool. In with both. Formidable Speaker can't untap anything here. Okay, so that happens. And then I play a Rooftop Percher. Your Formidable Speaker can kill my Flamekin Guildweaver, or your Gloom Ripper can kill my Flamekin Guildweaver here. But I do think I'm just racing. Gloom Ripper is so good. That card is so good. Yeah. This is what my Elves deck was missing. This kind of card quality. Now I'm in a tough spot, but that's a nice one. That is a nice one. So basically, 2 damage to everything they have, draw a card, or 2 damage to everything they have and copy my Guildweaver, right? And attack with Guildweaver and ask them to trade. That's a really nice one, yeah. Right? Am I thinking clearly? Yeah, I have a lot of draw. I have Unexpected Assistance. So yeah, copy this Elemental, 2 damage to all of your stuff. I guess I could have asked them to make their blocks before that. Nah, this is better. This is better. All right. Trample over for 2. That's why this is better, by the way. I have them really low. Really low. Safe Right Cavalry. Well, that's a pretty annoying one. Oh, but you know what else is annoying? When your opponent Glamourmite's tapping down your Safe Right Cavalry to push 4 extra damage. That can be annoying. So I'll tap your Cavalry. Oh, you have Assert Perfection or something? Blossoming Defense. Yeah, okay. That happens. Now the question is, do I crack my treasures here to play the Gathering Stone, or maybe I just play Unexpected Assistance? Let's see. Let's see. Unexpected Assistance sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But I would do that at the end of their turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Unexpected Assistance, I would get to save a treasure. Kind of like the Gathering Stone idea. What do I really want? Endblade's Epiphany would be nice. Glitterwing Nuisance, Glamourmite. It's a bunch of not actually elementals. I mean, obviously Ashling's Command would be nice, but Colorized Zealot would be good. But for the most part, I don't actually want elementals. So that tells me I should be playing Unexpected Assistance, and I'm going to do that at the end of their turn. Okay. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. End of their turn, I'll Unexpected Assistance, try to get some card advantage. Morkant's Eyes, that's a good one, but my plan is to win with Flyers. And they cannot crack it this turn. All right, yeah. Tap those guys and 1 treasure. Draw 3, discard 1. Okay, Flittering Nuisance is a really nice one. I guess I'll pitch the Mountain. Okay. Let's open with Gathering Stone. So actually, do I name like Fairy? I don't think so. I name Elemental. Come on. Ashling's Command. Now there's actually a question, do I even reveal it? Is it worth revealing it to get the draw? I mean, yeah, right? It's a pretty hard one to play around. Like, it's not like they can just not crack Morkant's Eyes and that's an advantage for them. So yeah, let's just grab that one. That's so funny. Ashling's Command number 2, the 4-mana Ashling's Command. In with Glamourmite for 2. Second main, I'll play a Flittering Nuisance. And we end. Morkant's Eyes. Okay, I really need to lock in. I really need to lock in. There's lots of ways out here for them, like Sapling Nursery or something. Okay. Interesting. They could deal 6 damage to me. Well, I'm not blocking, right? What do I lose to? +3/+3 and then +3/+3? It's a very interesting attack. Do I chump block with a Flamekin Guildweaver is the question. Very good attack by the opponent. I could also just chump block with Flitterwing Nuisance and say, like, drawing cards is not actually that important here. And then I get to copy my Flamekin Guildweaver. I kind of like that move. Makes me wish I hadn't attacked with Glamormite, but I don't want to just lose to 2 +3/+3 tricks. So I think I am going to block, and I have so much value on my side. Honestly, kind of just want to chump with Flitterwing Nuisance. The only thing is, though, I actually do win next turn if I manage to land the Flittering Nuisance. Okay, so I'll chump with the Guildweaver. Such a weird move, but next turn I get in with Glamormite and Flittering Nuisance. I actually win off of Tweeze, and this asks them to spend 5 mana. Blossoming Defense and then Trample or something? No, okay. Okay, they only have to spend 1 mana. We'll see if they have a kill spell. If they have like Blight Rod or something, I'm not just winning. Are they going to reveal their last card, or are they cracking Morkant's Eyes? Okay. There's nothing for 1 green here. There is nothing for 1 green here, right? Let's just double check. So I attack for these 2. I'm not going to pay the extra mana to remove. There's no reach. I was just looking at some Avatar games stupidly, getting all those cards in my head. There was Pillar Launch for 1 green in that set. Nothing in this set. And this does deal damage to a person. So in for 3. There's no instant speed life gain for 1 green. And Tweeze your face. Let's freaking go. Let us go. Holy cow. Ripping through the event. Oh, man. Oh, man. So I made a gem profit. I have 2 more chances. 1 more win. So I actually made a pretty nice gem profit. 2,100 gems. 1 more win out of the next 3 games. And I actually get a booster box mailed to my house. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. Not the greatest hand I've ever seen, but perfectly fine. I'm on the play. It's assertive. I'll keep this one for sure. Both of my colors. Ooh, I'm a little nervous. 21-6. It almost makes me more scared when my opponents mulligan at very high wins in these events. Makes me feel like maybe they're looking for a Figure of Fable turn 1 like the last person did. Very nice draw. Really happy to see that guy. My MVP. Down he comes. All right. So it doesn't look like they're playing Grub Goblin Matriarch or whatever. Could be. They could be. That guy's a very nice response to Gangly Stompling. Milling 2 lands. Okay. Only time will tell if they're happy or sad about that. Down comes the Stompling, obviously no attacks, and end. Vinebred Brawler. Okay. What do I do if they attack? Probably just block with Gristle Glutton. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Kind of want to attack. I mean, I don't love trading the Stompling for a 2/2, but Brawler plus Scout is a little bit nasty. Anyways, if I'm going to play another Stompling, it can block the Brawler. I guess the nightmare scenario, if I play a Stompling and attack with my Stompling. Yeah, here's what that lets them do. Oh, never mind. I was going to say it lets them spend a removal spell like Blight Rot the untapped Stompling, and then Gristle Glutton is forced to block the Brawler. However, I can just tap my Gristle Glutton so that it doesn't have to block. Having said that, I think it's time to use some removal. I think I'd rather Tweeze than just slam down a Stompling here. I'm guessing they're going to take it because I think they want to attack with the Vinebread Brawler and give their Scarblade Scout +2/+1 to get a bunch of lifelink. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so I'm going to definitely accept that trade. Part of my reasoning here is they want elves in the graveyard, usually, because they're an elves deck. And then I do have Rooftop Percher coming down. All right, so probably I'm just going to Tweeze this Vinebread Brawler before combat. Dawnhand Eulogist. Okay, that happens. That happens. 1, 2, 3. It's a lot of elves in the bin. I'm just going to go ahead and Tweeze this right now, and I don't really want to pitch anything. And then go to my turn. Rooftop Percher is a nice one. Flying damage, I think, could matter. And I will exile. I really want to exile elves from your bin. So get rid of this one. And let's get rid of the... Which would I rather they bring back? Probably Scarblade Scout is less dangerous to me in the long run. All right. Gloom Ripper could still kill my Rooftop Percher. But Feed the Flames could kill Gloom Ripper, as could Gangly Stompling. I do want to draw some of my better cards, though, soon. So far, I have not drawn very good cards. I wonder, are you playing 3 colors? Maybe they are playing Grub, a Goblin Matriarch. Could be. No, okay. This is just about number of lands and getting more elves in their deck, I'm sure. It's about the elf count. I'll take it. They are currently winning the race. Just looks like they have a totally solid elf deck. Dundulin Weaver. Okay, glad I did some exiling of their best cards. Bringing back Tam, perhaps. Maybe I should have exiled the Tam. Pitiless Fist. Okay, interesting. I didn't think about exiling non-creatures. Okay, but that's totally fine because now I just hold up Feed the Flames forever, right? The question is whether they just did this Changeling Wayfinder thing. Probably they did it for mana efficiency, to be able to play these two and bring this back. One risk is if they also have +2/+2 and Hexproof, then that's going to be a complete blowout, right? Pitiless Fists onto the Eulogist or whatever. I Feed the Flames it, they give it Hexproof, but I think we just have to hope that that's not what's happening here. So fingers crossed that this is not the +2/+2 and Hexproof uncommon. I wonder if they do it into open mana, though. They might just not. Yeah, this really makes me worry that they have a trick, but I don't think I can get away with just not doing it. Okay, they do. I don't think I could get away with just not doing it, though, right? Now, you're going to go to 3, so you actually can't fight Rooftop Percher and survive. Just something to consider. So I guess they'll fight the Gristle Glutton. Or you could not fight anything and just hit me for 8. That's a little rough. Yeah, so this guy, when all is said and done, is going to be a 5/5 menace. That's bad for me. That's really bad for me. All right, well, obviously I will blight onto this and throw away my island. Withering Nuisance is not really helping. And then they get in for 11 damage. Ouch. Okay. I don't know, maybe I was supposed to just let them resolve that? That just sounds so terrible, though. That just sounds so terrible. Okay, so let's think for a second. I can play the Nuisance and the Stompling. Attack with the Percher and take 5 and just die to the next Dawnhand Eulogist? That sounds so bad. I think I just play Percher and Stompling, and then I'm just in blocking mode. Really bad, really, really bad. This is not looking good for me. They just had a totally solid, consistent, respectable Elves deck. Maybe I spent my Tweez too early. Would have been good to have Tweez up. Requiting Hex. Okay. Well, do I go for the value play? Any pump spell and I just straight up die? But if I get like Ashling's Command, Glamormite, I think I'll go like I just straight up die to the next Dawn Hand Eulogist or pump spell. But here I'm taking 3 going to 4 and I have no creatures on the board, so I'm dying in the long run anyways. I think this is playing more to my outs, but I'm like 20% to win here. Yeah, if you just play a Dawn Hand Eulogist, it's game over now. No, it's not a Dawn Hand Eulogist. Okay, we're still in this game, definitely. I would like to draw Ashling's Command. Colwrath Mystic is not Ashling's Command. Well, I have to be attacking, right? I have to be attacking. So I die to a single removal spell, but I'm just going to get in there with Gangly Stompling, play a Colwrath Mystic, and we're in double blocking mode. Too bad Feed the Flames is gone. And yeah, let's see what you top deck. A single Dawn Hand Eulogist and I'm out of this game. Single removal spell and I'm out of this game. Now I can't attack anymore because that's a lethal attacker. Ashling's Command. Can I get an Ashling's Command, please? Unexpected Assistance. I don't hate that. I will not be tapping any creatures. Thank you. That would be a death sentence. 1, 2, 3. Pitch a land. Play a land. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Until they draw a Dawn Hand Eulogist. We've had a pretty magical run so far. You put good cards in your deck and you get lucky. But I've gotten especially lucky. Okay, not dead yet. I'll say it again. I am not dead yet. Not yet. Very close, but not yet. Ashling's Command would still be a nice one. That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Okay, so we have a few options. I think I really want to play Ashling's Command this turn. I think, okay, we really have to think. I want to play Ashling's Command during their turn. On their turn, they're going to attack because it looks like a lethal attack. And then what I can do is play the Ashling's Command, deal 2 damage to everything, copy Rooftop Percher, exile 2 cards from their graveyard, gain 2, kill the Scarblade Scout, and Colwrath Mystic and Gangly Stompling can kill the Wildvine Pummeler. No, just Colwrath Mystic alone can kill the Wildvine Pummeler. And then the Rooftop Perchers kill the Dawn Hand Eulogist, and it's an empty board, and I'm at 4. Yep. Yep. That's the plan. I think I want to actually look flooded. I'm just going to play this, and I'm just going to look flooded. I'm going to look helpless. This is what I call playing dead. And yeah, they attack with everything. It's what I would do in their shoes, for sure. No doubt. It's what I would do. I would absolutely attack with everything in their shoes. Even if they don't attack with everything, I think things are still looking okay. Just don't play something amazing. Gloom Ripper maybe would be really bad for me. I'm not sure what else. Even cards that buff things are not so bad, because I'll know about it before blocks probably. I'll just make conservative blocks. Unbury. What do I think about Unbury? Okay, they now know that I have an instant. Unbury, they're going to bring back... This is very interesting. When they play Dundulin Weaver, they're going to bring back Scarblade Scout or Tam. That's fine, right? I don't mind that. So the thing is, I could Ashling's Command, copy my Elemental, and destroy their Scarblade Scout. It's not quite the blowout. So maybe I just do that. Maybe I just copy my Elemental, exile those 2 cards. So the question is, so copy my Rooftop Percher, exile those 2 cards, and I draw 2. How likely am I to win after that? That's the question. How likely am I to win after that? I still need to find an answer for the Wildvine Pummeler. If they do this, they're probably just going to play both of them out, right? They have no idea what I have. So they're probably just going to play both of those cards out. And then I get to still do my blowout. The problem is they could just attack. I destroy all of their stuff. And then if they attack and I destroy all of their stuff, then second main they play Changeling Wayfinder into Dundulin Weaver. Well, they'll have no creatures left. They'll have no creatures left, so they can't just Dundulin Weaver and bring things back second main. I'm actually going to let this resolve. I know it sounds absolutely bonkers, but I think now they have to do this first main for it to mean anything. And they don't know that I have Ashling's Command, right? That would be, I don't know if that's what they're now thinking and now going to play around. But I think they're going to do this first. I think they have to do this first main phase because the Dundulin Weaver is just kind of blank. They might not attack with everything now. This is still value. They might not attack with everything. That part I'm not sure about. They actually might not. Okay. And Dundulin Weaver gets back what? Tam? I don't hate that. I think you can have a Tam. And then you attack with everything, right? Yes. Okay. Phew. Okay. So this worked out. 2 damage to each creature you control. Make a copy. Copy this guy. 2 damage to all their stuff. I will exile Dundulin Weaver because you're looping and I don't like how you do that. And a Scarblade Scout, I guess. Or maybe the Changeling Wayfinder. I guess Scarblade Scout. Then we'll go to blocks. Block like this, probably. And put a single 3/3 in front of Wildvine Pummeler. Can I do any better? This way, what dies? Colwrath Mystic dies, and a 3/3 dies? Colwrath Mystic dies, and a 3/3 dies? Otherwise, it's the same exact result. I mean, I could have, basically, I could have Gangly Stompling die instead of a 3/3. But actually, yeah, that's good, right? Let's block like this, I think. I think I like having the Flyers. Flyer team. No one has Trample. You have Trample. Oh, that's very important for me to know. Yeah, okay, that's a much better block. Good thing I double checked that. So I'll take 2 Trample damage. You do not have Trample. Okay, I'll block like that. 2 Trample damage. Not happy to be taking Trample damage, but... Oh no, this kills all of my creatures. Well, okay, that's fine. I mean, I couldn't just take a bunch of Trample damage, clearly, so... That's how it goes. Couldn't just take a million Trample damage, right? Chitinous Graspling, I think that's a good one. And the opponent's in top deck mode. I have a bunch of... I have, like, near lethal attacks. They drew a land. Oh, my heart. Am I winning a box? Oh, my goodness. Let's play this before we forget. Next, in with the team. Oh, man. Okay. Lock in. Still playing. There's no board wipe. We're still playing, but they needed to find an answer to this. They needed to find an answer to that and multiple attackers. What a good deck. Just a totally solid, consistent elf deck. Totally respectable elves. Do we get there, folks? What do they have? It's something. They're not auto-conceding. They might just be looking back over the game, though. They don't have a lot in their graveyard. Tristan? No, Tristan wouldn't kill me. They can't play Tweeze. I don't want to celebrate too early. What do they have? They're thinking. If they could bring back Dawnhand Eulogist, you gain life. There's no return a spell, though. Next turn, I'll play the Flame King Guildweaver and I'll attack with 3 lethal attackers, holding back 2 blockers. Wildvine Pummeler. If they have a Wildvine Pummeler, I can just attack with multiple creatures. They're thinking. I want to pause and save you from the tension, but I don't want to miss whatever they do if they somehow turn this game around and win a box for themselves. That's the second timeout. They've saved a lot of timeouts. I don't know. What could it be? Gloom Ripper? I can block. Gloom Ripper would be close, but I can block it. What else? +2/+0 and trample. If they attack with Tam, I'm double blocking. Blight Rot. There's no draw multiple cards spell in green and black, is there? They had a lot of timeouts saved up, my friends. They just really want me to sweat it, don't they? They don't like how I found that Ashling's command and turned everything around. They just want me to sweat it. Or they have the most complicated play of all time. Oh, there's that Vivid. What does that Vivid Mythic do? Like, they could have ways of gaining life, right? The Prisma Basher wouldn't do it. We won a box! Oh, yeah. We got a freaking box of Magic cards. Didn't we? I always forget. I'm pretty sure I'm at 6-0 right now. Haven't dropped a game. Up a box. Feeling good. Oh, yeah. We got there. This is a long time coming. If you've been following me since the beginning of Lorwyn, you know my last Arena Direct run in Avatar, I got there. And I was feeling really good. Didn't have to do that many buy-ins. Then this time Lorwyn rolls around. I've done like, I don't know, 8 buy-ins or something. I recorded all but 1 or 2 really bad ones where I just went 0-2 and it wasn't very interesting. But seriously, like, you can go back through my videos. You can see basically every run I did. It's a lot of 1-2s, 2-2s. There were a bunch of 3-2s recently. So to get that 6-0, that feels really good. To get that box in my hands. And what a deck we have done it with. The double Ashling's command, I feel like I supported it very well. So we can't just celebrate yet. There's 2 more games to be played at least. Well, no, exactly 2 more games to be played, 1 or 2. I could get a second box, but I just want to take a moment to pause, take a breather. I'm so happy with the way that play went. Not firing off the Ashling's command too early. I feel like I was rewarded for discipline there. Firing off that Ashling's command too early to just get that Dundulin Weaver back to make them not be able to get the Dundulin Weaver back would not have worked out. I don't think. They just not have attacked with everything. Then I would have had to deal with the 6/5 reach after that somehow. And I'd already used my Feed the Flames. And even firing that Feed the Flames into the Pitiless Fist and just saying, if you have a pump spell, you have to, we're going 1 for 1 a few times. I'm going to take a lot of damage. And then I just have to recover, but my deck's good enough that I think I can. That paid off as well. So feeling really good about that game in particular. And yeah, there's another one to be played. So let's go. Let's go. Box number 2. Let's go. All right, folks. After the last game, I had some plans with friends. So I had to go out, get a meal. It's been a good few hours. Had a latte, nice and caffeinated for my last run. We're going to be playing someone who is also 6-0, presumably, which means we're going to be facing some good players with very good cards. But at the same time, I would say we do have a loss to give. So if I lose this game, I still get another try for a box. So do we keep this hand? Let me say, if you do like high stakes Magic, every time there is an Arena Direct, I do record multiple videos usually. If that sounds appealing to you, go ahead and click subscribe using the link in the description below. All right, I think I do keep. It's not risk-free, obviously, but any land is really good here. I have a 1-drop. I can play 6 of the cards in my hand if I do obtain a land. I just need a land in the first 2 draws. Okay, the opponent is also setting up and fixing here. That's not a land. Well, now it's risky, right? Now there's a good chance that we actually just miss. Well, maybe it was a bad keep. Now it's more likely than not that we just miss. Bloom Tender. I cannot land cycle that. Not how I envisioned this going. Maybe it was a bad keep. It's too bad. Dream scenario from my opponent's perspective. You're 6-0, launch into a game, and your opponent gets stuck on 2 lands. Yeah, this is the situation where Colress Zealots land cycling does not matter. Youch. Okay. Wow. Not the deck you want to trip on lands against. Okay, but we're not out of it. I don't know. It was a risky keep, but I still think it was actually correct. So, okay, we have a few options. So one thing is I can wait until their turn, let them declare attackers, and then flashing Gleamermite and block the Thought-Weft Lieutenant with it. That's one option. The other option is play the Kalrath Mystic and just, it's a little bit more risk neutral, let's say. I think I'm going to go with the Kalrath Mystic. The other line gets blown out in like a lot of different ways. Okay, another Evolving Wilds. They're doing a lot of fixing for someone who went Thought-Weft Lieutenant into Crossroads Watcher. This is clearly a many-colored deck, so that makes me think they're not so aggro slanted. I'll take 4 here. I've preserved my life total so far. I will just take the 4 for sure. It's filtering this, and then you can also add another one with Bloom Tender. One of basically any color. Miss Meadow Council. Wow. Why are they playing all these different colors? They must have bombs across a bunch of different colors. But it looks like a very aggressive deck to be playing 3+ colors. Or they've just found like all of their fixing. 2 Evolving Wilds, Bloom Tender, and Foraging Wickermaw. Yeah, I strongly regret my keep, obviously. I think I'll just play a Kalrath Mystic. Just try to stay reasonably stable on the board until I can find a mountain. Even when I find a mountain, it's not that helpful. I'm so outclassed in the mana department. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess being on the play means I pretty much had to have a land in the top 2. And it was pretty darn important that it be a mountain. But okay, we're not out of this game. We're not out of this game, and we've won some pretty implausible ones. So I have no evidence about whether they have a pump spell yet. In fact, I'm guessing they probably have pump or removal in their hand. I would guess. Ashling's command is looking terrible against them. Looking terrible against this player. And it's Sun Dabbled Celebrant. Yeah, it's GG. I mean, their mana advantage is just not something that I can overcome. I'll keep playing on because there's a box on the line, but what are my odds of winning this game? I mean, I'll block the bigger one. Gathering Stone. Okay. I should have attacked with Flittering Nuisance, right? Because I don't think I'm blocking with that. Well, maybe I actually have to chump block, to be honest. I'm going to tap the Sun Dappled Celebrant. Yeah, okay. I don't have to chump block with the Flittering Nuisance, but... So why are they always filtering like this? I'm actually not following why that's important. What is the utility of that? Does it suggest something about what's in their hand? I'm actually not following why they keep having to filter for black. The Bloom Tender could add... Yeah, okay, I guess I don't get it. Are they thinking they might draw something? No. You know, that has a vivid payoff? No. Gallon Foul Knight, that's a good one. And they can cast it. I'm just getting stunted on here. Yeah. I mean, I did get, like, tripped on lands and everything, but I'll also say I would not have had good odds against this deck. This is definitely the, like, aggro deck nightmare for me. Okay, I definitely do have to chump block. So, block here. Well, like, what are my outs? What am I even blocking for? I mean, there's really no way out of this one. I'll just see another draw for the sake of seeing another draw, but I don't think I was going to beat this deck with any, you know, any 6 cards that I could draw. Like, the good thing about my deck is double Ashling's Command and like Gangly Stomplings, Coloreth Mystics, this kind of thing, like ways of trading, but against, you know, the Trampler, this thing that gives something trample, Sun-Dappled Celebrant. Yeah, I think it was not looking good for me, even with the average 6 cards in my deck. So, okay, hey, maybe better luck in the 6-1 bracket. A little sad to spend the whole afternoon going undefeated, come back and play 1 game, and then take a loss. But you know what? 7-1 is the same as 7-0. Same prize. This just means that we have to win the next one. So there's a box on the line in this next game. All right. Game number 8. Let it be a good hand. Perfect hand. Awesome. No complaints. No decision. But I'm going to be deliberately just a little bit careful and a little bit slow. I always recommend in games like this, just slow yourself down. You have a clock, so use it. Okay, so I'm going to open with an island. It's a lot on the line. This game has $200 on the line. So we got to focus up. Will it be a Gold Meadow Nomad from the opponent? Kinsbale Aspirant. Revealing a Mist Meadow Council. That's also kind of my nightmare. Kithkin's aggro is one that I was very lucky not to face in my first bunch of games. That's definitely the weak spot of my deck, aggro. I will not block, absolutely not. Even though I know they're the more aggressive deck, there's no way I'm blocking. Especially because my main game plan here is to just draw Ashling's Command, right? Okay, what I want to do, play an island, attack, and maybe even play Gangly Stompling over Glamormite. My reasoning there is there's nothing in particular that I'm hoping to draw, and the Stompling can kind of put me in the driver's seat of pushing damage. I can use the Glamormite to tap down one of their creatures. The other option would be play the land into Glamormite. Next turn, I'm hoping to land Flitterwing Nuisance and draw a bunch of cards. But I don't think I'm in any hurry to do that. So I think I'll attack and play the Stompling. I think it's just nice to kind of develop my board. I wonder if they do have something here. Deal 4 damage to an attacker or something like that. All right, I'll play the Stompling. So the good thing about the Glamormite would have been that I get to Surveil, but there's nothing specific that I'm digging for. I guess Gathering Stone would be kind of nice. So finding a land to play Gathering Stone, I wouldn't hate that. Although with another land, I might just play Glamormite into Flitterwing Nuisance. And then use the Gathering Stone as a way to kind of refill my hand with good cards. Interesting. Kind of want to go Gristle Glutton Flitterwing Nuisance, honestly. So one option is Glamormite, tap down the Kinsbale Aspirant, attack with both. and I'm putting them down to 12 and kind of saying, you know, I'm the one who's putting on pressure here. And then I have them on a 3-turn clock in the air. The question is, do they have the 4-2 reach? I think that's very possible that they have the 4-2 reach. So why don't I just attack with Unwelcome Sprite? See if they play the 4-2 reach. I think that's very likely. That's what I'm reading here. Next turn, they're probably going to play Miss Meadow Council. So then the question is, do I tap the 4-2 reach after they play it? Okay, they don't have it. Okay. Now the question is, do I play Glamormite on their turn or Flitterwing Nuisance plus Gristle Glutton? I think probably the Nuisance plus the Glutton is a little bit more developing. I think I like this line more. It's a little tough that I didn't hit my land, but Gristle Glutton could help me get there. It's a good blocker too. And now you play Miss Meadow Council. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I won't argue. So we do have a combo, right? Flitterwing Nuisance plus Gristle Glutton is a combo. I can Blight onto the Nuisance. So I'm definitely going to do that here. I'm going to remove a counter. And then I think I just attack with all 3. If they want to block with the Kinspell Aspirant, I think that's okay because I'm gaining a card out of that interaction. And I'm dealing a bunch of damage. So I think this is good. I think this is good. Yes, they can hit me back. I don't think you can have anything here. They're looking at their hand, but... So they're basically saying, I accept the trade. Oh, are you going to double block? I would not hate that. I would not hate that. Yeah, this feels good. Draw 3. That feels good. Draw 3. I'll draw 3. Can I get a land now, please? Thank you. Yeah, I was wanting that. I'll admit, I was wanting that. Okay, so we have our combo. We have our combo online. Now I just have to not die. I have the long run power. I just have to not die. I assume they attack. No reason not to. I'll certainly just take that. Another Miss Meadow Council. Okay, I accept. Now the question is, do I Blight with the Gristle Glutton? And I don't think so. I don't think so. I just want to do 4 in the air next turn. I would love to have drawn a 2-drop. I was going to say I would love to draw a 2-drop, then it didn't happen. I would love to have drawn a 2-drop. Okay, I need to be super precise here because I almost have lethal. If I play Glamormite on their turn, I can get there, right? So I'm about to put them down to 5. Play Glamormite on their turn. And then I have lethal attackers in the air. Oh, come on. Okay. The only issue is I cannot play anything right now. I have to save up for Glamormite, but I'm sure that's the correct move. I'm sure of it. It has to be, right? See what you got. They could have a removal spell. Liminal Hold or something could be really awkward for me here. Do I play Glamormite before their attacks to tap their card? Yeah, because if they have like Assert Perfection, they're just going to Assert Perfection on one of my other flyers, and then I don't have lethal anyways. This does give them the knowledge that I'm representing lethal in the air. Oh yeah, I'll take Ashling's Command. I'll take an Ashling's Command, sure. I think that's good, right? I'm not just thinking clumsily here. What would I do? I don't have an elemental. It's gotta be good, right? It's just on general principles, not even concretely. It's just gotta be good. I think. Yeah. I think that makes sense to me. And I don't think that I want the 2/2. It's actually not the worst card. I guess I could, Ashling's Command, making treasures and drawing. Nah, let's not spend a draw step on that guy, I don't think. So we'll see what they've got. I don't think revealing this was a big problem. I will just take this. I will just take the damage here. I'm gonna have chump blockers for days, so take the damage and just see what they have, honestly. I mean, Colruyt Zealot is coming down next turn. They have 6 cards in hand. They have every opportunity to save themselves here. Wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna go in with the team. I'm gonna go in with my attackers. If they have a 4/2 reach, I can deal 2 damage to all their creatures before they block. Flock Imposter. It lands. Yeah, good thing I kept that Ashling's Command on top, huh? Ashling's Command. Do I just draw 2? I cannot copy anything. Maybe having the treasures is actually better. I think the treasures might actually be better. Maybe I should have drawn that 2/2, huh? Maybe I should have drawn that 2-drop. Oh no, I haven't played my land yet. So I'll take the treasures, 2 damage. I need to get these targets correct. 2 damage to each creature that player controls. Make 2 treasures. Pay 5. We'll see if it happens. It's a little risky. It's a little risky. They could just have a pump spell here. Then they get to pump their Flock Imposter. Block something, take 4, go to 1. Personify, drawing a card. They're digging, looking for +2/+2. Looking for the +2/+2 trick. Did they find it? They did not find it. 6 damage coming through in the air. And 6 damage lands. $200 box in my collection. Let's go. Too bad I dropped the game. Would have been nice to have a clean 7-0, but 7-1 still gets me 2 boxes. I cannot believe I actually got there. When they started out with the freaking Kithkin roll right after I had just gotten Kithkined out, honestly, I thought, you know what? I'm cooked. I just got too tired today. Spent too much time out at the freaking restaurant. and I was going to come back and just lose and end my streak. Nope. I was refreshed by my social time. And I really want to say, actually, for real, a big part of this win was the fact that I started out this Arena Direct by consulting my community. Huge thanks to my friends. And for real, I recommend that anyone do this. If you know even just one other person who plays Magic, even just casually, if they're not super into limited, that's fine. Don't hesitate to ask them about your builds. My friends talked me down from splashing for Bree, which I think would have been a mistake. You know, I love splashing. But the fact that she needs the second white source and a bunch of my splashes were treasure based meant that I really should not have been playing her, right? And we got rewarded for consistency. The one game where I got mana screwed, I lost. Every other game I won. My friends also talked me like up on Flame Chain Mauler as opposed to thinking about Summit Sentinel. Great decision. We had a game that Flame Chain Mauler won by just pushing enough damage, getting into a racing situation. The Feed the Flames was clutch. For real, I was thinking all day, all afternoon about that moment when I drew the Feed the Flames into a land. LSV has this thing he says about Mana Screw where he's like, it's actually a feature of Magic that you can sometimes get stuck on lands, right? People talk down on the mana system a lot, but LSV makes this very wise point that like, what feeling is better than being mana screwed, stuck on your 3rd land, and then suddenly you draw your 4th land, right? What feeling is better than having the Feed the Flames, knowing you have to get that Figure of Fable, you just need to find a land, you do your absolute last resource by pitching something to get, what's that last card? A land. What feeling is better than that? So yeah, I couldn't be happier. Huge thanks to my friends. So happy to have finally gotten a Lorwyn box. I might do another Arena Direct tomorrow. Honestly, we'll just see how I'm feeling tomorrow. And then after that, it's, you know, onto a new set pretty much. So Thanks very much for tuning in. Have tons of fun playing Magic, everyone. If you want to see more runs like this, go ahead and click subscribe. And until tomorrow, have tons of fun playing Magic. And don't be afraid to splash.